everyone. Hello, strongbear.
Yeah, hello, Dr.B.
Welcome, everyone, to our live stream about CsoundMeta. It's Monday, April 14th, and we're excited to play a little for you, to show a little to you, and to help any of you get CsoundMeta installed and running. I'm very excited to say that last week on Friday, I think it was, right, Strongbear? Wasn't it Friday?
Yeah, Friday. We did Monday, Thursday, and Friday.
Friday, we had 3 of my students join, 1 in Paris, 2 in Boston, join us here at Boulanger Labs with their quests and jam in CsoundMeta with us at the end of Friday's session. And so we were able to set people up and get them going and get them installing the app on their quests. We will show you again today a little more of how to do that and step any of you who want through the process. We will also show you a little more of how CsoundMeta works and how to work with it once you get it installed. And we will hopefully be jamming with some of you as you join in the live stream today. And so we're excited about all of that. Strongbear also is wanting to answer questions, more technical questions, even today if you want to dig in a little bit into CSound Unity, the mechanics of how it works. And I am thinking, Strongbear, that you wanted to maybe post that our Discord channel, and that's where you can answer all of your questions and where you can share your jams with us and get help on a pretty much daily basis. Our Discord channel has a new link. So maybe Strongbear will want to share that with all of you or tell you about it.
I'll copy that and post it in the chat. So because of the previous Discord link has only like 7 days, so it expired, and now we got a new one, and this one shouldn't be like expired. So post it in the chat here. Yep.
Great. So all of you who are already on Discord probably got that information because you logged in or jumped over there and saw the new link. But and I have shared the new link in some of our recent posts and some of the emails that I've been sharing about CsoundMeta with the CSound list. And so, we're very excited. We have a lot of the repertoire of CSound that runs in the Quest as well. Maybe I would start just by telling you all again what is CsoundMeta and a little of our motivation. CSound is a universal computer music synthesis and signal processing language developed by Barry Vercoe at MIT back in the 60s, 70s. It's based on the foundational computer music language by Max Matthews, the Music N languages, his Music 5 language. And CSound has been growing and developing and expanding, and there's a team of developers still working on it. It's everywhere. It's in a lot of commercial apps. It's under the hood. It's open source. It's really a wonderful, powerful, and quite easy to learn language for doing sound design, sound development, composition. Very important tool. We're super excited because Rory Walsh, one of the CSound developers who developed the Cabbage language and Cabbage front end that allows you to build standalones and plugins and audio units, VST plugins, audio units out of CSound instruments and run them in any DAW on any operating system. It's his language, Cabbage. Well, Cabbage, Rory also developed the API for CSound Unity, and that's what set us free and let us start to develop CsoundMeta. So we're able now to put all of these CSound instruments and sounds and signal processing algorithms, even classic compositions, in the metaverse. in our Quest headsets. We're able to play them, toss them around, play with them, do sound design, sound sculpting with them. And so that's what CsoundMeta is making possible. And the person who's made that make possible is my brilliant and wonderful collaborator here, strongbear, who through a lot of luck and interesting circumstances and a real blessing, was at Berkeley and was already working in all these areas of immersive audio and VR. And we bumped into each other and started to talk about how maybe C-Sound could work, and Bear ran with it like nobody's business. And now we have this powerful tool that we're able to share with all of you. Bear, would you like to say a few words about C-Sound itself, or about C-Sound Unity and what it means to you, or how you're developing and how you see the possibilities that it's creating for you and others?
Yeah, I mean, like, how great it is to have Dr.B sharing like the same dream to be able to see sound and manipulate sound as the physical object, and like he had that dream like way before I was born. Yeah. Yeah, and somehow we bump into each other and uh, make it happen. So so C-Sound is great. It's free, it's open source, it's very lightweight, it's run in multiple platform. So yeah, it's like on mobile, on web, on desktop, in virtual reality. Oh, and cool thing about C-Sound is that like a huge like repertoire from from people like in the past decades.
40
So
years, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were able to utilize that, better stand on the outer of the giant to build on top of that. So we reach it with the new technology happen.
It might be nice if we, again, how I like to always begin, why don't you and I play a little in our virtual world and just experiment and play with C-Sound Meta. Now, what I want to tell all of you who are watching, maybe for the first time, you're going to notice on the screen that we'll be immersed in some three-dimensional, virtual space, a skybox that was created using Blockade Labs' beautiful AI skybox generators. And so we'll be on a planet, we'll be underwater, we'll be in an old city, we'll be on the moon, just on the mountaintop looking at the stars, in canyons and deserts. So we can just jump from one virtual space to another. But within those spaces, you're going to see these orbs appear. And these are sound objects or sound orbs that we're able to trigger with our mallets. They almost look like marimba mallets or timpani mallets. We're able to move our hands through to change the sounds that we're playing. We're able to turn an orb, a solid object, into something that's sort of like mirrored or broken or assembled out of parts, a fractal version, if you will. And we're able to throw them around and have them wander around. They're called wanderers. We're going to be able to connect to the objects with patch cords so that we can use all of the buttons and knobs on our Quest hand controllers to trigger sounds or open filters. And so we have multiple parameter control from our controllers or our hands. And there's also some live vocal processing that we're able to do too, because now C-Sound effects and the microphones built into the Quest allow us to sing and play into these virtual objects in these virtual worlds as well. So that's what we're going to be doing a little. We'll jam for about 5 or 10 minutes just to, show you a little of the piece of the world that we're creating, the possibilities we're creating, and then we'll stop and maybe answer some questions or start explaining some details of how the system works. So I'm going to put on my headset and start casting and share my screen and take you all into see sound in the metaverse, made possible by the amazing strongbear. Okay.
Dr.B. So we'll be able to see both of us playing. We'll cast our screen from the Quest onto the live stream. So on the right will be my view, and on the left will be. And the sound is gonna come from you, right, Dr.B?
I think so. Yeah. I think I'll be making the sound for us.
Cool.
And let me make sure. Yeah, everything's looking good there. So I'm going to share, and I'm going to share my casting screen. Boom.
Fine.
I'm wondering if I have shared the casting screen. Let me make sure.
I do see your casting. I see your room bookshelf.
Yeah. Okay, let me see why. Oh, maybe in here. Hang on. How about now? No, huh? Yeah, I am casting from here. Maybe I'll stop casting and start casting again. Hold on. Okay. Tell me now, am I casting?
Yes.
And
you can see your keyboard, monitor.
And now. Okay, so let's and now Oh, I know why. Hold on. How about now?
Yep, let me join you.
Are you seeing the stars and the canyons?
Yes, from the from Zoom. Now I'm gonna join you as a client.
Okay.
Here's your IP address. Connecting to it, and I can see like a Grand Canyon, but like in star, like a galaxy.
Okay. And
Sharing just.
I should be. Let's check. Hang on. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I am. And I'm not making any sound, but I am sharing.
Right.
So,
we're not making any sound. That's why.
okay. So let me bring up a movement like this.
Yep.
What about now?
Nice. Let's drum beat.
Okay. We'll have them all fade away. I'll stop sharing and come back to reality here. Hello, Strong Bear. Yes. And I think you were singing too. So,
People should be able to hear like both of us jamming, like processing our voice.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I could hear a little of you in my speaker or whatever, and I figured I think Strong Bear's singing too. And the two effects that I was running in that last movement or that last section when the heartbeat came in was a beautiful shimmer reverb by Jeanette, and who is an incredible C sounder who's made incredible libraries and compositions and things. And also, I was using a kind of harmonizer inspired by Rory Walsh's work, and that harmonizer was allowing it to kind of play chords or sing chords with us as well. So it was getting pretty harmonically thick.
Yeah. It was beautiful, like to be able to hear from both headsets at the same time. I wish you could hear that, but like, I mean, like after this one, you could go back and hear it.
Good. I can't wait to watch the video of the live stream that we're making. And that reminds me to tell you that all of the live streams that we're doing, and we're going to be doing another one on Friday, I think is it Friday or Thursday that we're doing?
I think it's Thursday. Yeah.
On Thursday this week at 1 o'clock. The live stream that we will do on Thursday again will be recorded. And so any of you can come back and watch these and learn from them and hopefully even get a little inspiration from them as well in terms of these exciting new possibilities of playing with sounds. We barely showed you the tip of the iceberg here. What were we playing? A dozen sound objects of different sorts. Some of them from my classic piece in the 70s, Trapped and Convert, that have now been freed in the metaverse. And some of them were actual historic compositions. We were listening to a little in the background of John Chowning, the father of FM Stria, being rendered in real time in C-Sound. None of what you're hearing is sampled. We're not playing samples or playing music like on Spotify or some streaming service. We're actually rendering these C-Sound orchestras and scores in real time in the headset. So it's really quite remarkable. We're computing the pieces that you're hearing on the fly simultaneously. So dozens of C-Sound complicated pieces and worlds are being computed and rendered simultaneously in this C-Sound Unity, C-Sound Meta world that StrongBear has put together, and that Rory Walsh and Giovanni Bediti have sort of developed and supported and as part of the international C-Sound community that we're hoping you'll all discover and join as well.
Yeah, and it's wonderful that it's could be able to generate all of that like all on the headset. Like I mean, it's a small device. It's just like a phone, Android phone. Yeah, so pretty remarkable. Imagine in the future, like next couple years when the technology advance and get more power, and then like there's screen resolution, all of that, and the like spatial sound all advanced, and I don't know, like I can't wait to experiment that.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about C-Sound and why it's so important is that I like to say to my students, it's future proof. Those of you who've been making electronic music or computer music, like I have from the very beginning of the field, you'd write a piece for synthesizers or software or whatever. The next generation of computers might make that software obsolete or might make that hardware obsolete. And so great, maybe you have a record of it. Maybe you have a video of it, but you can't keep working on it. You can't recreate it. You can't, or it's very difficult in any case. The cool thing is that some of these sounds and some of these pieces that we're rendering right now in the headsets were composed in the 1970s. Some of the sounds were composed in the 60s, 1960, and we're still rendering them and playing with them now. You know, it's remarkable. A lot of the sounds that we're playing that you heard, teal or rust, they're from a classic piece of mine called Trapped and Convert, which I composed in 1979 at the MIT Experimental Music Studio. It wasn't even the Media Lab yet because MIT's Media Lab didn't exist. And, it took hours to compute these sounds, days to render them, weeks to render even the shortest sounds on the fastest computers that were available then. And there were actually only a few universities in the country and the world that had DACs where you could listen to the output of a computer. And so it was pretty rare. And those sounds we're still computing right now. Now, I've been working on that piece and those sounds for many years. And when StrongBear put those sounds into the metaverse, into C-Sound Meta, and attached all of these controls to the instruments that I had created many, many years ago, they became a totally different creature. they became a totally different sound object. So for me, it's so exciting because, I've invented one thing, that's kind of like a violin or whatever, and now it's turned into this, I don't know what, and so it's the cool thing about C-Sound is, and even what we're doing is we're really letting you touch sounds, we're letting you touch the classics and explore them in new ways, remix with them, learn from them, adapt them to your own instruments and designs. You'll see that in CsoundMeta, we have all kinds of capabilities of controlling and mapping even the existing sounds. And the sound library that's in there, that's part of CsoundMeta, is huge, and growing. And so, I don't know. I find it especially inspiring that these things that I've known since I was 18 years old or 17 years old, and now I'm 68 years old. 50 years ago, they're still fresh and new and alive. And that's a little of what I mean about C-Sound being future proof. All of these classic sounds, techniques, and pieces are able to still run and grow.
Yeah, that's kind of like we're able to control like lots of parameters at the same time. So basically, like your physical instrument, you are limited by for example, your hands. You have 10 fingers and can mostly like control a couple of parameters at the same time. But like the way we're making like the orbs, we attach the parameters to the orb spheres. So like it has a unlimited amount of parameter we can control at the same time. We are not limited by like number of fingers, but like now we can use our motions, our hands
Gestures,
movement.
our body, the accelerometers, our proximities to the object. We're part of the sound experience, huh?
Right.
You know what would be nice, Strong Bear? Maybe you would like to show now how you might bring up an orb and modify it or connect controllers to it. I would love you to show everyone, how much control you've built into the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be nice.
That's my
Good.
uh, the I want to select an orb. I'm in like a pass through world layer. So when I'll pass through on a ocean over an ocean, and let me select your I need the chord. So for example, high with glitch, or you can hear it's play. I'm gonna open the sound settings. So over here you can see like all the settings. The glitch delay, chord reverb, glitch volume, and basically on the right here are the mapping for the controls. So for example, the chord duration are mapping to the shape of the glitch duration, and duration is also map shape of the chord. Then some other mapping to the hand movements. For example, chord volume is up, mapping to move up, the left hand move up down, the glitch volume mapping right hand move up down, which means like if I can connect my controller over here, I move my up and down. You can see it changes the volume. And if I hit the trigger, it's gonna start playing the chord. So let's lower the volume, raise the volume. On the right hand, I map the trigger to the glitch. They start playing. So with two hands, I can control both at the same time. And not only that, I could start changing the orb shape, and then you will see how it's changed all the parameters in here. So, yeah, see how dramatically it shaped the sound. See, all of these are moving.
Nice. So what you're doing, what is not completely clear, it's really two things. With the patch cords connected, you can have direct control of the individual parameters as assigned in the mapping here, right? But also when you say, when I change the shape, so that's when you're kind of touching the orb or turning it or moving through it, sliding those mallet heads into the clay of the sound, if you will, the material of the sound, and you're stretching it or twisting it, and that's doing multi-parameter control simultaneously as assigned. And that's why you're seeing all those faders move dramatically as strongbear is kind of moving through. And so that's that's where all the extra magic or surprise or power comes from. And now, maybe you really want to control the ranges, and so these are range sliders here, so you can adjust them on the screen there so that it's giving you full range for maximum, let's say, cutoff frequency of a filter. You could set it from 100 hertz to 10,000 hertz, or you could just say I want the filter to go from 100 to 200. And so by using the outer bars, you can scale the ranges of all the controls to make, create more nuance or drama about the sound manipulation that you're going to experience as a listener or as a performer. And so all of these can be mapped, and then these can be saved. So strongbear can now say, hey, I'd like to either replace the existing preset, or now that I've made these changes, change these scales, I'd like to save a preset.
All right, so we could save as and give it a name, and then to be able to save it. And here you could see the red and the yellow and the green controls here, where you could set the min, max, and the default value of the parameters. I move my hand up and down. It go in between min and the max here, red and the yellow. I expand it to more, but it's gonna lower and higher.
Perfect. Yeah.
And up here we have a menu where we have a lot more control. So we could move the whole hand up, down, left, right, forward, back, rotate our hand, twist it, twist your wrists up and down, left and right, or
There are many hand gestures and movements that can be mapped, plus all of the buttons can be assigned, all of the joysticks and push buttons that are on the controllers can be assigned as well.
Right.
So there's quite a range of controls that you can set for individual sounds or group of sounds or for all sounds. And we're even refining some of these control systems now too, to allow almost like a layer of presets. So when no patch cords are connected, one level of controls apply, and when patch cords are connected, it kind of overrides the kind of first set of settings, and then there might even be a third set, which is, ignore and just let me hit it. Just lock the sound, and when I hit it, it just does its thing. Because in some ways you're thinking, as you're watching and listening to this, you're thinking, oh, I'm hitting and it's making a sound, bing, bing, or a sound effect, some riser. No. Some of these orbs, when you strike them, render a whole composition. Some of these orbs, when you strike them, are generative. So when you essentially strike the orb or initialize it, boom, fire it off, then it starts playing and composing in the background for you. And so some of them are event-oriented, some of them are play for a certain period of time, they're kind of motivic, and some of them are in fact procedural or generative, and some of them are actually full compositions. And so there's a lot here. And I'm happy to say that Strongbear and I, and of course Strongbear's two young daughters, are the most expert players of the system right now. And some of my great students too. We premiered a piece in Vienna at the International Sea-Sound Conference this past October, and I had several of my students were there with me. We were all on stage. Strongbear was joining us like he just joined me in my studio remotely, and was part of the performance and rehearsals and all of the sort of improvements we were making up till the last minute, up until showtime. And so I would say right now there are about 10 people who really know how to work the system perfectly. But we're hoping, and that's why we're doing these screencasts, to start sharing it with all of you. And it will be a big part of the upcoming International Computer Music Conference, the 50th anniversary of the ICMC being held in Boston this year. And I'm honored to be one of the keynote speakers, where I'm going to be talking about the Sea-Sound dream in a way, where I worked with Max Matthews, the father of computer music, Barry Verco, the father of Sea-Sound, Alan R. Perlman, one of the pioneers of modular synthesis, was in my class and commissioned my first symphony for synthesizers and orchestras. I'm going to be sharing some of Alan's dream, some of Max's dreams, some of Barry Verco's dreams, and show the way that they inspired me, and this kind of huge history of work that I've been lucky to be a part of, and now to be collaborating with Strongbear to really bring into the future. So that's coming in June 11th and 12th of the two Berkeley days. My keynote is on the 11th, and a group of us will be playing Sea-Sound in the metaverse in the keynote and in workshops that follow. So.
Right, and you can see how amazing it is, like just one sound, and we could like create like a tons of different kind of timbre, a lot of movement just from one object. And we have more, like the list here, as you can see. We have more sounds available, and on each sound in here we have like a lot of presets for each sound, so there's a lot for you to explore.
Right. And I mean, now when we say we have a sound in this, it's really not a sound. It's a whole synthesizer, right? When you think, oh, wait, I have my Oberheim expander or my ARP 2600 or my Mini Moog or my Prophet 12, those synthesizers are essentially a single instrument in C-Sound, right? A C-Sound instrument can have a bunch of oscillators and filters. So when strongbear says, well, here's a sound, well, no, it's a whole synthesizer category, class. Some of these are waveguides, some are physical models, some are sample processors, some are spectral resynthesizers, some are wavetables and FM and AM and ring modulating based. So each one of these objects is in fact a pretty robust synthesizer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as a sound, but like the whole synthesizer in here. As you can see.
Synth in each orb. So now, strongbear, you're sharing your sound and everything, right? Because I don't hear you I don't hear the sound. You're probably hearing it, and maybe you're hearing it out of what you're sharing on the screencast.
Right. So people on the live stream should be able to hear it.
That's all. Yeah, good. I'm glad.
Blue is one of the object that originally is the very first one that I
this
had a prototype that I worked on.
Yeah, this was the first prototype.
Yeah. And I think it was exactly the same color, like orange.
Yeah. Now that might confuse some of you because the instrument's called Blue and you're looking at an orange one. But I will tell you that one of the geniuses of C-Sound, my great friend John Fitch, one of the key developers, does have color issues, and so to John Fitch, this is Blue. Sending out my love to you, John. And but the cool story of Blue is this, two interesting stories. I, of course, modified this instrument many years ago, and a lot of my students at Berkeley play with some of the MIDI versions of some of my tracked instruments. And one of my colleagues, I remember, had entered a sound design and a sound production competition at the Audio Engineering Society, and they won. And they reported back to me and made me so happy. Well, Dr. B, I sprinkled a little blue in the production. And I said, the secret sauce. And so, Blue has been with me forever. It's just a little jangly kind of bell instrument. But when strongbear was implementing Blue in Unity, because he had connected all these controls to it, it was a revelation to me. Because I opened up, I tried it, he said, no, that's Blue. And I said, no, it's not. And I'm playing the sound and I'm hearing, I don't know what. And I'm saying, that's not Blue. And then I start playing it in the evening and I start turning it around and playing it from the backside and pushing through it. And finally, I hear the original little Blue, and I say, I guess it is. And that, for me, was like a big moment because all of a sudden, this system has totally transformed the instruments, and made them, it's turning strawberries into grapes and grapes into French fries. It's like, what? I can't believe it. And so that was really even another real wonderful light bulb and inspiring moment for me about what this all makes possible. And what you might show them, Bear, is now let's say you like Blue and you've made some settings and presets and you've saved them. Well, how do you then group them or organize them so that you could start really composing with them? And Strongbear came up with is this idea of pallets, almost like little satellites that orbit um, an object. So you can create what we call a palette, and a palette can be a collection of your presets or your instruments or even very different instruments. And so you can create a palette, and so then the object appears, and it has little kind of pills or moons that surround it. And we have shortcuts that allow you to advance randomly. Like even now when Bear is bringing up an object, he's pushing a button combination that just says, hey, create a new random object. Or he's getting rid of an object by pointing at it and holding down one of our buttons, and it just fades nicely and elegantly. But he's look, take a look at the object on the screen now. I'll let you take it away, Bear, and explain what palettes are and maybe show them how you can jump from one preset to another in a palette.
Right. So the way we organize like different sound or set, and group the related one together so that when we perform, we can quickly select related sound is through a palette. And I call it up from the yellow tools right here, up here above the orb. Have a different palettes. I chose like rhymes, and in this one we have like accordingly we have 6 small that appeals here around the orb. Those are like according to that's, and it has names going up. This one is the from loop 3, loop 4, 5, 1A, 1, each one a different sound. So I hit my trigger, so it changed and start hearing it louder. Like another one pointing at B goes and like maybe I'm gonna choose a different set that totally different sound.
I think you might choose one of the drum ones, kind of different beats or
is it?
Yeah, try that.
I'm gonna use this palette. See, we have 4 presets in this palette, according 4 pills. Now it's playing D loop 4A. I could choose the loop 3. It's a different drum sound. Oh, this 5. And as I choose like a new sound from the palette, you can just change up here as well. So let's use D loop 6A. So I can quickly move through the palette by holding like A and B, pointing at B, or changing the presets. That I'm gonna go through this. Watch change over here when I press A and B. So it's moving like sequentially, but if you wanna randomize the order, now it accidentally is still like sequentially, but yeah, as you can see, it jumped from 4A.
No.
Now it's
the whole purpose of this a little bit is well, it's nice to have a bank of presets that you like. You can imagine that any performer on stage doing any show has preset banks for whatever track they're playing, and they're calling up, well, I want to start with my brasses and my this pad and that pad and my lead sounds and whatever. So the idea of having a bank of presets is important for kind of performance. For me, I'm wanting to structure improvisation. So I'm trying as a composer to build compositions that allow for creative, interactive music making with the players that I'm playing with. But I might like instead to give them palettes of groups of sounds. So when someone's playing these, let's say, industrial beats or street or rhythms, someone's playing these chords or pads, someone's playing these kind of melodic physical models, metals or whatever, then, I want to be able to say, okay, we're all jamming. You have these objects you're working on. You have a small collection that you're playing. I have a small collection. We sort of set up our kits, if you will, of objects that we're making sounds with. And then you could advance to any of the presets that I might have composed in a palette. And we're still kind of in the same world. Now, if strongbear were to jump, even now, if we go to show you one more thing, like if you show them the movements for a second, strongbear.
Yep.
So if strongbear goes and shows you, because we're all starting to think now a little about composing. If we go to this idea of movements are where you organize collections of objects and palettes. And you could imagine, as you see, I've been working on a lot of pieces or a lot of ideas. There's some compositions too, which you'll see that come with CsoundMeta. But the idea would be that if you just jump from one movement and then maybe a different one, you might find that they don't quite fit. They're not compatible. Ones might be total groovy and drummy, one might be very jazzy, one might be very ambient. And so, the idea that I can create palettes that are in the same sound world or tell the same or an interesting sound story is very important to the kind of music that I'm trying to compose, the kind of audio art that I'm trying to create and trying to help you create or encourage you to create in the metaverse with CsoundMeta. And so even now, if strongbear was to choose one movement and let it groove out or something from like the B-Tot collection or whatever, and then quickly switch to a different movement, you might see that, those, that's like Beethoven and then, Stockhausen. They might be good on the same concert. They might not really fit the bill. And so, there's a lot of structuring you want to do. Now, see, these are ready. This movement here is queued up for improvisation. Do you notice those orbs that strongbear is showing you that are small and gray? They're silent. They're waiting for you to grab one, bring it to you, expand it, and make it louder, and then start playing.
These are the vocal effects. So make it bigger, not making talking or singing. Then it's gonna process my voice.
Now that one's reverse, so you need to say hello and have it.
Hello, how are you? Today we're first thing. Once delay verb. So basically, a movement is like a collection of sound that we have pre-selected according to a theme. Then we can start improvise. Make sure those are still in the same theme.
You might wander around a little bit for a minute, strongbear, or even pick another movement. But
okay, over here.
There's your instruments over there. So here's all your singing, and here's all your synthesizers.
Oh, so I how you organize this? You
now you see how I organize the movement, right?
Yeah. So you got these like generated brow kind of making the foundation. Over here, the right, there's high sound. Then on the left over here are vocal processing.
Right. That's how I set up this
Right.
movement to
So
explore with.
all of these are muted, so we boring. So imagine like where multiple player, then first could start grabbing one of the board down, but like we still make sure like everyone are like playing together. They're harmonized together.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just one example, but even now, if you wanted to pull up a different movement, you'll see a different kind of collection for people that'll be totally different. Some might start with grooves, like, yeah, try Jam 2. Now, Jam 2, I think, has drum grooves. Oh, you're in Boston in the 1800s, cobblestone streets. And look around, you should find some of the objects floating around and, bring them out. Oh, there's some waiting for you to play. See them all grayed out over in front of that red building? And so the way this is working too, strongbear, there's like a laser pointer, as you see, coming out of each stick. So when he points that at an object, he can then grab the object with the grab control in his hand and pull the object to him. When you want to hear them, you point 2 sticks at them and stretch them out. That controls the volume. So he's holding it like with his left pointer and making it louder with his right hand. And then striking it or not. And almost every object in our library, in our collection, if you connect the right patch cord to it, the A button will trigger it. So even when it's not next to you, he can let it fly all over the landscape here and just be pushing the A button and re-triggering. You're also noticing, if you look on strongbear's hand controllers, that he's got kind of cheat sheets there. He's got a little blue set of instructions on each hand. Now, we have the option to turn those off once you're an expert, but boy, I keep forgetting myself, so I leave them on all the time. And what they are is they let you see what the controls are. So those of you who are installing CsoundMeta and starting to play with it, well, you might want to be looking at the blue sheets every now and then and saying, oh, what button do I need to push to do that? Or what combination will do this or that? Right? And so as you see, this movement has a totally different feel than the other one. Each of them, I'm not sure yet, are movements for a piece, but they're really more like sketches and combinations of things that might be fun starting points. You could say that you're all playing with my sketchbook, or my and Bear's sketchbook right now, as we're putting together some of our favorite things.
And we have more movements here. Dr.B has been on all these movements.
Exactly.
A lot for you to explore.
But you can, of course, make movements of your own. You can say create a new, and you can combine different worlds, pick from different worlds that you want, pick from different palettes. Look at that big palette there in front of you, Strongbear. How many sounds are in that galaxy?
8
So that
and 12
choices, right?
13.
Yeah. right? So what we've shown you now is our objects, and maybe you would go to the instrument selection list again for a second, Strongbear, just to go through that menu to show and explain orbs, wanderers, classics, effects.
Oh,
You know? So in the instrument category, take it away.
so from here we have orb, we have wanderer, we have classic, we have sound effect, we have sampler. So an orb, like the one we have been exploring so far, it's stationary. It's still for you. A wanderer, it's like an orb, but moving. That are kind of different bunch of hollow here, a bit lighter. And next one is classic. Classic is like a generated piece of different posers. We have a different category from drums to like composition, generative, like ambience. As you can see, this collection is huge. From here, yep.
You might
That's classics.
choose a couple of the generative ones by Sam and by Aman. The viewers might enjoy seeing these. So my students, my recent graduates and seniors have been building kind of generative jazz pieces and pop systems in C-Sound that again are part of our classics collection now.
All other, also.
Aman Jagwani's generative or Sam Marston. Drum kit, bass lines, chord progression, all being computed and generated and composed on the fly.
So one classic itself is like the whole piece, but the cool thing about CsoundMeta is we can jam with we can manipulate it by outputting it or sound effects. So a classic, it's just flying around, and like in virtual reality, you see moves. This is like a spatial audio, depending on where you're looking at. You'll hear the sound direction. I mean, I could be in this environment and then do like a meditation from here.
Well, the nice thing is that you can not only design the worlds, and we have a bunch that we have put in for you to choose from, but the worlds can be locked. So you could say, for this movement, I just want this world. I want you to be on this planet, surrounding you like now. Or Strongbear has set it up so that we have a whole library of worlds, and it can randomly choose as well, or change every 30 seconds or every 100 seconds or every 10 seconds. So it can go through our library of 30, 40, 50 different immersive environments, right? Or you can pick one that you want. Like one of my, well, this is a nice one, but I like sunset above the clouds, for instance. So I love these, you know, where you're up in the clouds and you're in the mountains and there's the, you know, sort of Milky Way or milky something above you, and you know, auroras. And so I'm a real fan of these skyscapes, and you know, and so they're definitely a lot of fun to watch and be in. But you as a user can select them. They can be, you know, constant, or they can be randomly chosen or sequentially chosen. So you can really do quite a lot with that. It seems like Emory has joined us, Strong Bear.
Oh, awesome.
And Emory, we're at a different IP address today, but we might involve you in a jam with us in a minute, and that would be very nice.
Cool. Yeah, sorry it took so long to get on
No,
here.
it's all good. Welcome.
Welcome, Emory.
We're glad you're here. So what's exciting about what we're going to be able to do in a couple of minutes with Emory is, Emory is one of my current students. Emory is a brilliant instrument builder, a fantastic trumpet player, a fantastic composer, and he's designing hardware synths and software synths and web-based generative systems. Emory's doing it all. And this is his thesis week. He's actually playing a solo concert at Berkeley in a couple of weeks on the 30th of May. And I have a funny feeling he's going to sneak in a C-Sound in the MetaQuest moment as well, now that this is flying, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Hello.
it's
Hello.
pretty, seems like it might happen.
Hello, Wen. So we are now sharing a little, but even showing the jam. We'll do a jam in a minute and set up, give you the IP address so that we can work with that, which would be great. Strong Bear, when we do our jam session, will I host again? And
Yep.
well, I'm excited that you're here visiting, Wen, and we need to get you set up now so you can join and jam with us in the future.
Hello, Wen. Cool.
So what we've been doing, hello and welcome to CsoundMeta live stream again. What we might try to do is bring in Emory, who just set up his own Quest 3S on Friday, got it all flying, and see if we can't do a little bit of a jam with the three of us, which would be super fun. So what do you say, Emory? Should Strong Bear, should we try that? I'm going to put my headset back on.
Yeah, of course. Do that.
And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tell Emory what the IP address will be. But one second. We're going to want to set me up to share. I'm sharing. Looks like I'm sharing the right thing. Looks like I have audio. I am the host, and what we want to do is just turn pass-through off. And right now, I think you should be seeing my system, and let's just make sure it's making a sound. Strong Bear, do you hear me?
Not yet. Okay, I can hear it. It's slowly build up.
Yeah, it's not too loud, but Okay. So if you want, you could tell Emory how to join. And,
So yeah, the IP address is 72.22.2.22.
Cool. I just opened that the APK thing, so I'm connected to that.
Yep.
So 170, 172.2.22.
So 172.22.2.22. So everything the same except the last number was 5, now it's 22.
Okay, cool. All right. It says connecting. I think I'm good.
You're in.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think I see y'all. Nice.
Now, what I'm wondering, Strong Bear, is can I stand up now and set up a new space so I can walk around and give us all more room to play in?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me try to do that. Let me go to here and tell it I want to make a new boundary.
And for when you want to listen to the sound, then please the live stream is over. Oh, Dr.B is sharing through Zoom, so you should be able to.
It looks like I have a nice, better boundary now for us, so we won't bump into each other.
Yep.
I think I'm sharing, and I'm out in the middle of my studio now, so we're above the clouds, which, as I said, I love. And
Back.
and there's someone here, good, and I'm going to.
I don't see him.
It actually like crashed for me, but I think I'm back now.
You're
Okay.
back now.
I see
Yeah,
over there.
all three of us are in, and so
I closed the app and opened it back up, and it took like 10 seconds or something to get back in. That's pretty cool.
excellent. Okay, so let me see if I can pick something, a movement for us to jam on. Let's try B-Tot Groove. And so I'm selecting this. Here it comes. Okay. Now, as you see, all these objects are sitting in front of us, and I'll turn off a few things. Okay. Good. Okay, Anton's drums are nice. Let's leave those. But all of you need to wander over here, and this whole group is for vocal processing, so we don't need to use those. But here are all the sounds you want to play right here. Where are you, Emory? Here, I'm going to give you a sound. Remember how to open it up? Select it. There you go. There you go. I'll give you another one. Just put it in your area. There you go. And here's another one. So, Emory, you got a few to play with, right? Strong Bear, you have a few to play with. For now, let's leave this set of vocal effects processors alone, but we'll get to those in a minute. I'm going to turn on my scraper. Okay. And I'm going to, there you go. I'll give that one to Emory. Emory, here's another one for you. And Strong Bear, there you go. Nice. I'm changing the world.
This is my favorite app.
And I'm going to get rid of the drums. I hope you can handle that, no drums. Let's get rid of that reverb for a second. And let me try one of these loopers. One of these loopers. I'm going to just talk and let it loop me. We'll leave that alone.
You should another one of those once there's a microphone mail.
Now, remember, Emory, to play them, you've got to strike through them.
Yeah. No,
And do you know how to grab them when they're moving? If they're
Yeah.
flying all over the place, you point at it and just grip. And that'll stop it. And then you can use the joystick to pull it to you. Right? Boom. So when they're flying all over, you can kind of bring them back and stop them and bring them back to you with the joysticks. Also, if you want to bring something back to you very quickly, you can point with your left laser and use the left grip, and that'll just jump right back into your hand.
the left grip thing is
The left pointer, left laser, point at something and then just grip, and it'll bring it right back to you.
I love the left grip.
So now things are flying like crazy.
Like you can just hold the
I'm going to call up a different world.
hold the left grip, just hold it, and like an orb pass by your laser, it will be kind of stick to your head like a magnet.
So, like right now, Emory, let's do a little practice. You see this thing I'm holding? I'm waving it at you. Okay, stop. Point at it with your, there you go. See how it just came right to you?
I love
You got it now, right? Good. So if I want these drums, I just pull them right to me and strike them. Make a polyrhythmic thing. There you go. Good. Let's delete that drone for now. We're in pretty crazy drum heaven here. This is like the drum practice rooms at Berkeley. So now you do remember, Emory and everyone, if you push X and Y on the left hand, it brings up a random orb. So I just put green in front of me, and I can open it to listen to it and then strike it. And there's green, right? And to get rid of them, I can point my right laser at it and push down on the joystick, and that erases it. Gone. Ooh, that's nice, Emory. That's that F looper there that you had, I think.
I totally deleted it. I switched the pizza back.
Now, I want to show you another trick. There you go. That's you with the chords, Emory. Let me get rid of this drum loop. Now we just have one drum loop left, I think. Or maybe another. There, get rid of that. Good. Okay. So I'm going to bring up an object. Let's see what I got. Mincer. Let's say goodbye to the drums, and let's go a little more dreamy, right? And in fact, let's say goodbye to this world. Let me pick Castle at Night. Nice. Someone brought out fire.
Rain.
Yeah, it's rain. I think that's you, Strong Bear. Nice. Here's some other chords floating around. Oh, Ian's haiku. That would be nice. Let's make him louder. Here's one of Sam's generative jam sessions that I talked about earlier. Okay. We'll just let it float around. Let's get rid of that. Nice. That drum beat's weird, but what can I say? Let's get underwater. That's cabbage, I think.
Cabbage.
Nice. Let's let it chill out a bit. Now I'm thinning things out a little bit because these should be more melodic instruments. So take a minute. Don't create any new instruments, please. Just grab one of these and try playing it like Russ should play melodies. Try exploring the pallets in them. So make them a little louder or a little softer. Use A and B to choose different chord progressions. Here's a nice little chord thing. And there you go. Play it, Emory. On 2 sticks. Play this with 2 sticks, the palette. This guy. Play that. Ba 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 ba. Go. No. Go. Keep going. There you go. Thank you. Make up a nice little melodic motive for us, please. I think you should have a melodic instrument over here too, Strong Bear. Try Teal's bell hit. I'll make the chords a little softer. Make this a little louder for you. I'll send that off flying away. What's this? Oh yeah. Now, Emory, I'll give you this instrument to play melodically. There you go. And I'll play this one. Right? Nice. I'll turn off the chattering. Let me find that instrument that's chattering. I think. Where is he? There you go. I think you might have gotten rid of it for me, Strong Bear. Maybe not. It's this. Goodbye. Nice. Can't play it unless you're hitting it, Emory. Oh. Strong Bear, do you see the cylinder?
No, it should be back to normal in like within 15 minutes, 15 seconds, if you see one.
Okay. I brought us into Glitch World. That bell is fun. Now, Emory, you probably have noticed that when you grab an object, like right now, you're not playing anything because the objects aren't in your hands. But when you grab an object, you can also hold it and move it over your head or spatialize it while you're triggering it. So you can fire it off and then move it in space around your head or in the sound field. It's kind of fun. We might fade out now. And so what I've done is faded us out and gone back to just us talking. I'm gonna sit down and get ready to kind of answer questions or wrap up a little bit. That was fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we use that as a chance to teach both Emory and a few others who will get this installed on their quests a few little tricks on how you would work with the system and how you would make and control sounds. Emory, did you learn any new tricks just now? Hello?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think so. One thing I was noticing a lot is there's something like from like particle physics stuff where like once enough like of them start going, like it's in a way it's like really hard to like stop them. That was like interesting of like doing it with multiple people, where it's like it'd be interesting if there was like a control or something that was just like freeze all or something, so that like when they start going like super crazy, there's like a clip
Right.
them all.
Because we're attempting to make things like bigger and bigger to so that we could hear it clearer, but when we make it too big, they bump into each other.
Yeah, it's coming. Strong Bear, you might want to go to another preset for in our screencasting, because it looks like I'm off the screen or
No, you good. I just opened the chat, so it like blocked my face,
there we
but
go. There it is.
yeah, but
There it is.
it's good to read people or comments from here.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, when is
Yeah.
now, I will tell you, it's so nice for Wen to have joined us today. Wen is a recent graduate, built some beautiful Unity 491 project at Berkeley. She's an incredible composer and sound designer, game developer, and she mastered CsoundMeta when she was studying with me at Berkeley, and was involved in a lot of the beta testing and performances at the college, as you'll remember, Strong Bear. So
Yeah, she's my classmate.
Yeah.
And we did film in front of Berkeley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun memory.
Beautiful memory. So, Emory, I want to thank you for your comment. Yes, Bear and I have been talking about this for a while, having a way of having them go to slow motion or go to freeze all. So these are features that are coming in the next version, or one of them. They're on our list, and they are important. If the room is small or the objects are big, you have options to have them come back home. When we were playing with this originally, Bear and I were playing, and we would set a wanderer, and it would wander off on top of a mountain, and we couldn't even bring it back. It was like, how do I get that back? So Bear added this wonderful feature where if you push both A and X, all the wanderers come home. But if you don't stop them while they're coming close, they all collide and then chaos. And so that's what even a lot of beginners or like you, first time users, early users, it's like you're just pushing a few buttons and you don't realize you just brought everyone into a boom, a big bang. And so we create, super chaos that way. And so we're working on a version or a feature, either a button combination, probably be a button combination that will sort of slow or freeze all. And so that, you can kind of do that.
Yeah. We could like stop the corpse from gliding. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's what Bear was thinking, and it's probably even a smarter move that, when an orb comes close to another, it doesn't, they don't collide. They repel, or they don't even repel. They pass through.
Yeah, like pass through. They can overlap.
Maybe like a variable that the like person who's hosting the session has like access to or something.
Yeah. The conductor. There are a few of these power modes. Yeah, good point. That host could set that as an option in settings. No collision or pass through, whatever. Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's really interesting, the way how different it feels to use it as like solo versus with multiple people. I feel like is very comparable to like how different it is to play music alone and with like other people. I kind of forgot or like didn't expect it to be so like such a different feeling, because it's almost like a form of like composition versus more of like performance when you're with other people. It's funny.
Yeah. I appreciate hearing that from you, Emory, and all of these first experiences that you're having with the system are a real inspiration to future development. You don't realize how important it is, and even to these ideas about how what's next. What I have told some of you in class and what I've told some of you on the live stream is that what we're trying to do, Strongbear and I, is lay the foundation for a kind of new kind of textbook or a new kind of way of teaching composition or sound art or sound composing, where I'll give you a version of CsoundMeta that might have 6 or 7 compositions in it. And yet I'll be then having versions that explain the thought process of making this style of music or this style of sound piece, and then even encouraging the reader or player or immersed student or immersed creator, collaborator, how to compose with me, play with me, so it's almost like it's a rehearsal, it's a creative environment, but something totally different than our typical DAW or book or I don't know. So I'm trying to really think of what the future is for this as a teaching, sharing kind of system too. So Bear and I have had a lot of ideas about that.
Well, yeah, that seems super inspirational too. If you were getting this to like kids who had never had any type of formal music training or anything, or if this is like their first experience with music, I feel like that could be really formative for like how and just like the way that augmented reality and everything will be like integrating into everyone's lives. Like that could just be like a really powerful mechanism for like in a way almost like avoiding like some of the bad habits that come from like a music school environment or something, or like from a formalized training. That's like an interesting perspective for how will the kids of the future learn
Right.
music.
Well, Bear, I would love you to comment on this a little because you noticed it a lot, and I've noticed I have some things to share, but I mean, you might want to comment for a moment about how much your young daughters and children you find love playing with this, because they're not so worried about, is the drum in tune? Is the melody in tune? Is the drum beat in sync? They're just having fun with sounds.
Yeah.
And so
like by giving this to people to play, and I observe, I see like a group of people really engaged in like advanced or sound design, who like avant-garde music. The other group of people are their mature younger generation.
yeah. Yeah, and that's what Emory's area. I really appreciate your insight and and what how you're tuned in to the same wavelength that I'm sort of finding or discovering too. That it isn't about these prejudices, but it is true that it's nice when you just bring wonder, when you just bring that, like, wow, what is that? Just, oh wow, because I did have a bunch of junior high and high school students do a workshop with me at Berkeley, and well, a couple of things happened that was very funny. A few of them put on the headsets and they started screaming, and I thought, whoa, they love this. Oh, this is so good. And they're like, wow, ah! And so I'm like, wow, I made it. I'm like a rock star. This Bear, where are you? These kids love your program. You're, and then, oh no, it was because they were afraid of heights. And they're standing in the clouds and they're screaming like, ah! So they weren't quite as big a fan as I thought. But there were a bunch of users who, were now making music and making tracks, DJs and house and doing trance things, all, and they're like the cool kids in high school making cool tracks. and yet they were also gamers, and a lot of them were like, hey, this is like those sounds in this world, and I loved it. And so they were like remembering game experiences that they had and ambient music they had heard or different kind of VR experiences that they had had, but now they were getting to kind of play them and shape them. And that was nice. And I will tell you even a little beautiful but sad story from my life in a way, or makes me feel tenderness. My wife's mother, I'm just getting to know the family, and I said, well, let me show you what I do. And I make sounds and I make sound art. And I remember explaining to her, so I opened up my laptop and I opened up a sound editor and I grabbed something from a bowl she had on the kitchen table and I shook it and recorded it and transformed it and faithful coded it and flanged it and turned it into some magical thing. And it was such a beautiful moment because her mom said to me, oh, I always wondered how they make those sounds in TV and movies. And God, that just warms my heart to remember it, but it was so nice. And that's what you bring. So here's someone not thinking, oh, no, they're not thinking, I don't eat tomatoes. They're not thinking, I don't know what this is. They're thinking, wow, oh, what is that? And I do think there will be a huge audience, and I would love to encourage and inspire an audience of people who just love sound and have fun with sound, and that's a big hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think seniors love it. I think juniors love it. And I think, like Bear says, that sound artists and composers and sound sculptors and are going to, I hope, enjoy it too. Just that idea of control and exploration. And there's a lot of other things we're imagining that will be possible. A new way of playing, a new way of scoring, a new way of following gestural scores. So there's all kinds of things coming.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm curious too if there's like how direct the pipeline is to like compose within C Sound itself and then implementing it within the app, because I feel like that could be like an interesting draw, is that you bring people in like to the power of like a language like C Sound, and then whenever they're at the point where they're like, oh my gosh, like I want to try making something, or like I want to use like a large language model to help me make something and see it and then try to like implement it in, like I wonder if there's like a direct way that like along almost like on top of the base layer stuff, like that is already like the base layer compositions that are in it, if there's a way to like implement your own C sound like into the app as like an average user or something too.
Yeah,
I think it might be on Bear's list a little bit, but Bear, share some of your future dreams for this.
right. So the future feature that we want to implement is the ability to edit CSAL right in CsoundMeta. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Like that kind of thing.
Right. And then you will be able to kind of route the sounds from different C sound pieces together. It's not like separate like C sound, like CSD files, but like you can route like audio from one file to another different way.
Even more modularly, and also some kind of utility where you could drop your CSD in and it becomes an orb, or drop your CSD in and it becomes a classic, something like that too. So there should be a way. We're getting there where we will support even those capabilities. We will show people how to add their CSDs in Unity and compile their own versions of CsoundMeta. We might even give it a slightly different name, like CsoundMeta X or CsoundMeta Z or CsoundMeta Me or something. And so that would be the version that lets you, expand it and personalize it and share it. The whole power of CSound and wonderful thing about CSound was and is the fact that, we've been giving away the CSound language and tools and algorithms and elements in the world, sharing them with each other, learning from each other, learning from what we share since the dawn of CSound, since 1979 and since 1986 when the language was officially named CSound. And so, that's the spirit, and that spirit is not changing. That's that dream lives. And so the more that we can give these to people in ways that they can use it, that they can learn from it, that they can create with it, that's the heart of what we've always been trying to do. And it's certainly what I've been lucky enough to do at Berkeley for the last 40 years that I've been teaching there. 39 years has been able to inspire groups of students and generations of students. Some of them now are on our faculty, and they are all CSound masters in a way. Now they're not all teaching CSound because I'm there doing that kind of. So they all have other specialties. But it's been really wonderful at Berkeley that so many of my great students have not only developed and enhanced CSound, they've inspired new directions, but they've also really inspired other developers to improve the language. So that's been really a nice thing about what's happened at Berkeley for the last 40 years and from Berkeley.
The goal for CsoundMeta is to make it like suitable for like a wide range of audience, like from beginner to like advanced use.
Right. Now we're almost done with today's session. We just have 4 minutes left. I want to thank everyone for coming today. I want to thank Emory for being here with some of these questions and for jamming with us. That's been fun and great. And I continue to encourage you to keep growing with it. I want to thank all of you who are watching and who will be watching this in the future, the recording of this, for starting to check out CsoundMeta. And I especially want to thank StrongBear for all of the amazing programming that StrongBear has done to make all of this possible. We're going to do another session on Thursday at 1:00. We want to invite all of you to join our Discord channel and get real deep questions answered there, but also like we saw today with Emory saying, what about this? And what about doing that? And what if you could do this? This is what we want to hear. We want to hear from all of you who start playing with CsoundMeta. What does it need? Where did I get confused? What features do you need? So that, as StrongBear just said, when we really share this with the largest public audience that we can, we want to make sure everyone has a great first experience. What I noticed from a couple of sessions ago, when Emory got it working, or Tyler got it working, or Evelyn got hers working last week, that when you first started and you didn't know what to do, nothing was in front of you. And it was like, oh, well, because we always started with a blank screen. But I actually since then have made a startup movement, if you will, so that whenever in the future anyone opens CsoundMeta, there'll be some instruments right in front of you you can hit and bump into and sing into, and some things floating around and a little drum beat percolating in the background. So when you open it, you'll have a kind of startup world. And so even that hadn't occurred to us until we started sharing it with you and Tyler and Evelyn and Dave Doms and Randy Roos and other Berkeley connected and other alums and just interested CSounders in the world. So our Discord channel is where we want you to come so that you can start to give us ideas too. And so we really want all of that as well.
love to hear your feedback. And thanks, Emory, for spreading the word. Yeah, people about.
Oh yeah, I've shown a bunch of my friends. I want to get it set up on my little cousin's like headset. I feel like that would be fun to get some feedback from someone who's like 11. Could be cool.
Yeah.
We'd love that.
Right. But yeah, I'll keep y'all updated for sure. It's super fun.
Thank you.
It's even more fun if you could play with people in the same room, like co-locate in the same room and to pass through and
We'll
passing.
show you that in a future session. We might even show everyone that. Well, on Wednesday at Berkeley, as Emory knows, I'm going to bring in a bunch of headsets for my composition students and for my C-Sound students, and we're going to try to do a little bit of jamming with them and introduce them to the future of C-Sound. And so, and strongbear will join us remotely, but Emory and I will be in the classroom. Evelyn, I think, will be joining us in the classroom. And I'll have 4 or 5 headsets for students to all wear. And we'll try a larger jam. And definitely we'll have a lot of objects bumping into each other. So I'll definitely be taking advantage of my shortcuts to delete all. Well, take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this live stream, CsoundMeta live stream. Thank you, Strong Bear.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks Dr.B.